Hi, guys. Who's that guy? I don't even know him. He's got nice hair, though. Hello, my name is Nathan Crabb. I'm a sinner saved by grace, and this is my testimony. I grew up in a Christian home. My family attended church regularly and was heavily involved with church activities. I have 3 siblings, and my parents are still happily married. I was homeschooled until my junior year of high school and was taught sound Reformed theology all throughout. In short, I won the lottery when it came to my situation growing up. I was saved when I was young. All the blessings I received growing up, I equated to myself, which made me proud. If you know me at all, you know I am super competitive. My identity was in being the good church kid, the leader who would eventually help others who weren't as good as me. I despised the bad kids at church and didn't want to associate with them. I've always been talented at sports, which is another thing I found identity in. In high school, I started dating one of the basketball cheerleaders who was a Christian. I read the whole Bible in high school and some theology. When I graduated high school, I was the smart student, the talented athlete, the guy with the sweetest girlfriend, the 5-star Christian prospect, etc. I was living the perfect life. If you had asked me then, I would have said that I was happier than ever, but it wasn't true. There's only one problem with this rosy picture. I didn't tell you that I was a porn addict. It started when I was in middle school. I still believed that I was a good Christian and that change was just around the corner. Unfortunately, change is a slow process and often a painful one. That pain would start when I got to college. After being open to my girlfriend about my struggles, she rightly dumped me during my first month of college. I carried an enormous weight of shame from how I had hurt my ex and her family and could not forgive myself. I also attended SALT but failed to find the community I was looking for. My girlfriend was my idol, and it was swiftly destroyed. I was incredibly lonely my freshman year and believe it was the hardest year of my life so far. I continued hiding my sin and trying to Lone Ranger it. I read books and did all I could to change. All this led nowhere, though. My sophomore year, I was actually kicked out of my C group for my pride and confrontationality. This eventually destroyed any community I had. Eventually, I joined a recovery group at Cornerstone. When I began attending the group, I hated it. When people asked me how I was doing, I would say, "I'm here. That's how I'm doing." When I looked around, I was surrounded by people who were much older than me, people whose sin had often destroyed their lives. I wanted to disassociate from the group. Over time, however, I began to realize that I belonged in that room. I had this dilemma, which was this: what I do is wrong, but who I am is not. This cognitive dissonance led me to try to write the equation. If I could only fix my actions, I could say that what I do is right and who I am is right as well. Repeated sin, though, has a way of beating you over the head with your own depravity till you finally are humbled. Eventually, I was humble enough to realize that what I was doing was wrong and who I am wasn't good either. This took away the dilemma but left me in more shame than ever. I joined CF last semester because my roommate was on a co-op and I was living alone. I needed friends, so I decided to join. It was nice to have a fresh start. I joined a Bible study and was very happy to have finally found a group of Christians in college. As I continued to go to group, though, I realized that I wasn't being honest about who I was. I was trying to make myself seem perfect to avoid others finding out the truth about me. I was terrified that if people found out who I really was, they would abandon me. I don't think I fully realized the shame that was crushing me till I went on the spring missions trip. While evangelizing to students, I began to feel unworthy of my salvation. I wished the ones who I was evangelizing to had been saved instead of me. This past summer, I felt very depressed at times because I knew the things I was hoping for were not going to bring the redemption I was hoping for. I kept praying for help and felt helpless. After getting my long hair chopped, looking into the mirror became very painful because the man I saw was the one from high school. All the things that I put my hope in for redemption had failed. Then out of nowhere, a thought came to my mind that changed my life. I don't remember how it came about, but it was a true gift from God, and it was this: that God knows more sin that I've committed than I know, yet he loves me far more than I shall ever fathom. Romans 5:8 says, "But God shows his love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." I realized that if I thought I was bad, God knew I was worse, yet loved me in an infinite way. I realized that I didn't have to fear abandonment anymore because God would never abandon me. This drew me close to God in a way that I've never known. I learned that Christianity is about what God did for me and not what I have done. So I wish I could stand up here and say that I've had months or years of freedom from my addiction, but the truth is I can't. Some of you may be surprised by the depths of my sin, but you shouldn't be, because one look at what it cost Christ to save me, and that's all you need to know. Thank you.